Does that happen?
What people told me when I criticized what was happening to our city around the migrants and asylum seekers, they said, Eric, they got many ways to come at you.
Really?
Right.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to talk about the mayor of New Venezuela, Eric Adams, because he is currently on his revenge tour. As far as I'm concerned, that's what I'm calling this. Eric Adams is on his revenge tour. Now, first thing is first, for those of you who don't know, but I'm sure many of you know already, Eric Adams is obviously running for re-election for mayor of New Venezuela, but he is running as an independent. For the time being, he is no longer a Democrat, at least for this election. He is running as an independent. Now, that aside, as we all know as well, Trump's DOJ dropped the corruption case that the Biden DOJ placed on Eric Adams. And we all know that this was retaliation by the Biden administration against Eric Adams for him having the audacity to speak out against Biden-Harris administration and the role that they played in the migrant crisis, to which it was something that deliberately occurred by the Biden-Harris administration. We all get that already. But now Eric Adams is on his revenge tour. Now that he's been freed of his corruption case, he is on his revenge tour, and his first stop was Andrew Schulz podcast. And on this podcast with Andrew Schulz, he is going in on Biden. He's going in on the corrupt DOJ. And as he's doing this, he's referencing Kash Patel's book that he was holding up at his press conference that he delivered after the corruption case was dismissed. Many of you remember, because we covered it here at the end of his press conference, Eric Adams held up the Government Gangsters book by Kash Patel. As we all know, Kash Patel is the FBI Director of Donald Trump, and he has been referencing and pushing that book ever since, stressing for people to read it so that they can understand the level of corruption behind the lawfare that occurs with a weaponized DOJ, particularly the weaponized DOJ from the Biden administration. So let's get into this clip right now and let's unpack some of what Eric Adams had to say.
Because what Biden's Justice Department did was unbelievable. You placed mothers on FBI watch lists because you are worried about what they're being taught to children in school.
Wait, what is that?
Yeah, you know, they had mothers and families placed on FBI watch lists, terrorist watch lists, because of their advocacy around some of the things that they're teaching their children in school. They wanted to acknowledge, they call them terrorists. I'm telling you, you got to see what that Justice Department did. And
hold on, pause right there. That's diabolical. We're designating parents that care about their children as terrorists because they have the audacity to care about, want to look into, and change the nonsensical curriculum that their children are being taught in school. Understand what he's speaking to right now is, you know, what I like to call, and what I got from my man Rob from the BLR2 channel. He's speaking on the LGTV community, right? And all of the LGTV curriculum that was being pushed onto children in schools under the Biden administration. Their kids. They don't need to be learning about sexuality. They don't need to be learning about anything of that nature concerning their body parts and what that means to them and what that means to you. These kids are in first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade. They shouldn't even be thinking about this stuff right now. That's largely what this is all about. And you had the Biden DOJ essentially put them on a watch list that would be equivalent to a terrorist watch list to make sure that we keep an eye on these parents that care about their children a little bit too much.
And a lot of people want to ignore what you know. They talk about my case,
Yeah.
But when Biden pardoned his son, he said,
that was
the
great.
Justice Department has been politicized.
Yeah. That was
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
We're not like staunch
right.
Biden
No,
people.
right.
Biden's
Right.
It's like, it is a tricky thing because, you know, I'm pardoning my kid 100% if I have that power. But at the same time, I understand the frustration
Oh,
that you
1000%.
must absolutely feel. Okay, so
And we're not hearing no one
we're
from
not hearing the same criticism.
no one from the Justice Department quit. None of them saying, I think what you're doing is wrong, so I'm quitting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you.
Now, what he's speaking to here is, as many of you may know, but in case you don't know, when the original, not pardon, but the request for the DOJ to drop the charges on Eric Adams concerning the corruption case, when that originally went down, immediately, I believe it was 5 to 6 people within the DOJ resigned. A matter of fact, I'll pull this article up for you right now and just read it very quickly. Trump's DOJ orders to drop Eric Adams' case spark mass resignations. 6 senior Justice Department officials, including Manhattan's top federal prosecutor, resigned on Thursday rather than comply with an order to dismiss corruption charges against New York City's mayor, according to internal Justice Department letters seen by Reuters and people familiar with the matter. This was largely theatric. Matter of fact, this wasn't largely theatric. It was 100% theatric because, like he stated, the Biden administration was engaging in all type of lawfare. And no one within the DOJ said to themselves, you know what, this is wrong. We need to step down, right? And protest against this. Nobody did that. This is only foolishness that occurs under the Trump administration. These people oppose any and everything that Trump stands for, regardless of if it's right or wrong. Trump could come up with the cure to cancer right now, and you will see Democrats and all other deranged individuals fighting against that cure for cancer. And this is essentially what Eric Adams is talking about here. You guys are standing on this fake morality concerning my charges being dropped, but when it comes to the corruption of Biden, everybody's quiet. Nobody has anything to say. And this is just pretty typical of the government that we're seeing that Trump is essentially trying to dismantle.
Read Kash's book.
This is the thing that I think is really frustrating, is that, like, we know your name, we know Biden's name, we know Hunter's name, we know Trump's name. These people that you were talking about, or Kash was talking about, none of us know their names.
You gonna know the name in the books. Like he goes into what was happening in the Justice Department under the previous administration, and how the number of people who were under investigation was just political people. You know, I mean, the book is a good book.
Do you get a nudge, like when you start speaking out?
Yes.
Do you get like a private phone call from somebody or an email that goes, "Hey, why don't we go a different direction about this? It might not be good for you politically."
What people told me when I criticized what was happening to our city around the migrants and asylum seekers, they said, Eric, they got many ways to come at you.
Really?
Right. It's not just unique to politics. It becomes more costly when you're using prosecutors as a weapon against political opponents. You know, I mean, I'm facing 35 years in jail.
No.
Wow.
Think about it.
I didn't know.
For some upgrades? For some upgrades?
Think about it. And it cost me over $3 million
Personally.
Right.
Hold on. So
think about this for a moment. You know what I'm saying?
So
this is real shit, man.
So these people would 100% be totally fine with you being behind your bars for 35 years, completely broke, just so that they could send a message to other states not to push back?
Make an example.
Read Kash's book.
Wow.
They would 100% be fine with essentially an innocent man spending 35 years behind bars, broke, behind something that he A, didn't do, and B, was the accusations are something that was extremely frivolous, right? Extremely frivolous as it pertains to what they were levying against him and calling it corruption. And you have to think about it. I'm pretty sure Biden's DOJ was looking at it like, hey, we're being lenient on you. 35 years in prison and broke. I mean, you could be, right? It's not like our government hasn't engaged in political assassinations across the world, let alone within our country in the past. We all know that they have. Us putting you in jail behind bars for 35 years is a lot better than you being right. And that's how they look at it. So yeah, they have no problem with sending you to jail and ruining the rest of your life behind something that you A, didn't do, and B, to the degree that you may have done it, it was something extremely frivolous that you should not be spending any time in jail for, let alone should corruption cases be brought up against you. But with all that being said, that does it for today's news. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out for Eric Adams moving forward. Once again, he is running as an independent in his re-election campaign. And to be honest with you, I've seen the polling numbers. It's not looking good for Eric Adams at all. It looks like he only has 6% of the vote to Cuomo's. I believe it's somewhere around 42%. So if the polling numbers are any indication of how things are going to go, I think that Eric Adams is going to get washed. And I think that is also one of the reasons why Eric Adams, in recent interviews since announcing that he's running as an independent, he still states that he is a Democrat. He's just running as an independent for this re-election campaign. But I think that's game. He's only saying that to be able to galvanize extra votes from those who are just staunch vote blue no matter who. You know how these folks are. They're going to vote blue no matter who, regardless. They see Republican, they see independent, they see any third party candidate, and their brain shuts off. They pretend like they don't see it on the ballot, and they pretend like they can't hear anything. It's vote blue no matter who or nothing. So I think that that's just more of a strategy of Eric Adams to let the voters in New York know, hey, you know, I'm still a Democrat, guys. I'm just running as an independent, but I'm still a Democrat. Once again, to me, that's game. Once the case was dropped against you, and now you're on a revenge tour promoting Kash Patel's book, you're not a Democrat anymore. You're not a Democrat anymore. And we all know that you're not, Eric. But I get it, and I think we all get it. I guess do what you got to do, and we'll see how things play out. With all that being said, that does it for today's news. So thank you all for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. And most importantly, please make sure you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. And until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.